It's a 1.5 billion US dollar export industry, nearly 260 million kilos of annual production, and a future clouded by shifting tastes, climate pressures, and Gen Z indifference. Enter Suranga Perera, Sri Lankan tea veteran, global analyst and educator, and a judge at the World Tea Competition in London. He believes the path forward begins with bridging a critical knowledge gap and rediscovering everything we've forgotten to tell the world about Ceylon Tea. He's on Kaleidoscope Live Dialogues today. What would you say is the single biggest gap in knowledge that we have in actually taking the industry forward?
Tea started its life as a herb almost 5,000 years ago, which we take for granted. So the health benefits of tea is something that we are not educating our consumers enough, and that is a big gap, and that's, I believe, is the single most knowledge gap that we have.
So the Sri Lanka tea industry often lacks long-term vision. Almost, there's no long-term plan also to take it forward. From where you sit, what sort of direction do we need that Sri Lanka urgently needs to take this industry and keep it strong and healthy, so to speak?
We do have a strategy now. So the government has come forward and said we want to increase our production to 400 million kilos and income to 2.5 billion USD. We are at about 1.4 at the moment. But there, I think there is a small measurement change that we could look at. Say 2.5 billion income is a great target to have, and I think we can most certainly achieve that. But I think quantity is not the only way that we can achieve it. Value, quality, increasing our quality. We have a lot of potential in increasing our quality. So if we do that, we still can achieve it. If we go up to 300, we have been 300 million kilos very comfortably, and increase our FOB value to $8, we will still achieve 2.5 billion. And if we increase it to $10 a kilo, we are achieving $3 billion revenue. So that is achievable not only through quantity, but through quality.
Is Sri Lanka's tea model, current tea model, a viable one?
It has been holding strong for 150 plus years now, which has been established by the British back in the day, which is a very strong model with the auction systems in place. But one thing that is missing, I believe, is the new consumer in particular wants to have that connection between the source. And when they consume something, they want to know where it is grown, who's growing it, whose lives are we touching with this beverage. So that connection needs to happen through the producers. Say there is a trade in between. So when you look at historically, Ceylon tea became so popular with James Taylor being the father of tea, who introduced tea to Sri Lanka, Scotsman, and then Thomas Lipton coming together, taking the beverage to the UK market. The model is great, but we need to tweak it a bit. That's what I think we need to do. So transparency, making it feasible for those consumers overseas in particular to understand those challenges, and where by consuming this tea or buying this tea at a higher price, am I touching someone's life? Are they having a better life with this? This is what we need to do.
What emerging trends concern you, and how vulnerable is Sri Lanka in that context?
The healthier driven beverage market is patronized by the new generation, wanting to know the impact those beverages are having in their bodies. Right? The tea doesn't have sugar, it doesn't have calories, so it's an amazing beverage that, as you very correctly said, the trend is not a threat for us. It's a good way if we do position ourselves correctly. So there is a great opportunity for us to position us in the right direction.
You've spoken often about the growing disconnect between tea and Gen Z. How can Sri Lanka actually make tea relevant to the next generation?
I'm sure you would have heard about the matcha craze that's going around the world. Matcha has been there for over thousands of years, right? It's not a new thing. It just has come about because of the TikToks, the Instagrams, so social media has driven it through the roof. And currently, Japan, who produces matcha, authentic matcha, cannot provide enough matcha to the world's consumption. So it has grown that amount, and they're charging amazing amounts of dollars for that. I think the Gen Zs, as I said earlier, they want to know things, they want to know what they are doing, what are these beverages, whatever they buy, do to them. I was with the Cambridge University doing a session with them, and the questions they ask gives me the strength and the belief that we have a great product that we can go and deliver, just that we are not communicating that. So communication is the main gap, I believe.
What are the good things that Sri Lanka's tea industry has actually failed to communicate to the world?
We are one of the 36 biodiversity hotspots in the world, and hence we produce so much variety within a very small geographical area. We produce 7 distinctly different flavor profiles in Ceylon teas, which is completely different. Within those, there are subcategories, which we don't have to go into, but we have to communicate them to the world. World needs to know that. If they don't know, they don't know. Saying you can do the good things, but you need to be seen to be doing the good things. So your product needs to be seen out there. Darjeeling, if you look at Darjeeling, when they have the first flush comes out in spring, there is a huge amount of social media coverage in the Europe in particular, because that's the market. They give you anticipation in months ahead. Okay, it's coming next week, be prepared, kind of thing. So that's what we need to do. We need to communicate day in and day out. That's the name of the game today. If you don't, then people don't know. You can make the best in the world, but it doesn't take you anywhere.
Given your work with other nations, what are the examples you feel may work with Sri Lanka if we are going to take this on head on actually?
Each nation has a unique proposition. So what we need to understand is understand our strengths. So when I sit at the global tea competitions, I see that each nation has a unique flavor profile. So Ceylon profile cannot be replicated by others, and we cannot replicate other profiles because we call it terroir. We have hijacked it from the wine industry, which is the photography of where the teas are grown, the wind conditions, the rain conditions, everything drives the flavor of our teas. So it's unique to us. So we need to be able to bring that onto the global audience and showcase that to our audience. We need to do this locally as well. I think we are not penetrating enough into the local market. Currently, our local market is about 27 million kilos. If you take the per capita consumption, it's about 1.2 kilos of tea per head. That is about 1.3 cups actually per head per day. If you increase that to about 2 cups a day, you're talking about 41 million kilos of tea. So there is a lot of potential there for us to penetrate into the local markets to start off with, and also the global market.
So if Sri Lanka wants to remain a key player in the global market, what are our priorities and what should be the reforms that should be put in place?
Priority, Savitri, is hands down is quality. Global production is 7 billion kilos of tea. We produce 262 million out of that, which is about 3.7% of the global production. So quantity game is something that you're going to miserably fail if you go that route. The nuances are unique to us. Let's put that in front. So what we need to do is to understand that we have a very special flavor in tea, especially Ceylon tea, and protect that, increase the quality and bring it up to to our customers overseas and everywhere else. And also, I need to stress the fact that we need to protect our soil. That's something that we haven't done well enough, or we have overused our soils and have not done what we need to be doing. The proper agricultural practices needs to come back. Not that there is a lack of knowledge in that, it's a matter of application. So it needs to come back. So that, I believe, is how we can champion the future.
Watch, follow, and stay connected with Kaleidoscope on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Ceylon Life.